Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to Global News, former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton is set to plead guilty to a criminal charge regarding the retention of classified information. Sources indicate that the plea stems from diary entries Bolton kept while working during Donald Trump's first term. Under the terms of an agreement reached with federal prosecutors, Bolton will pay a $225 million fine. The deal also includes a recommended sentencing range of up to 5 years in prison, though a federal judge will make the final determination. This legal development is expected to be finalized at a court hearing scheduled for June 26. The investigation into Bolton was initiated prior to the 2025 change in administration and was carried out by career federal prosecutors. The case is part of a broader legal environment involving the Justice Department and officials who have interacted with Trump's administration or businesses. Bolton, once a key advisor to Trump, eventually became one of the president's most prominent critics, famously describing him as unfit for office in his memoir. NHK has learned that Japan's defense ministry has begun transporting equipment to deploy a surface-to-ship missile system to Minamitorishima Island, Japan's easternmost island in the Pacific, for the first time. On Monday, a ground self-defense force Type 12 surface-to-ship missile launcher and targeting drones were loaded onto a private ferry, which departed Chiba Port for the island, located approximately 2,000 kilometers southeast of Tokyo. The deployment is part of efforts to strengthen defenses on the Pacific side by establishing a firing range on the island for the Type 12 system, which has a range of over 100 kilometers. The ministry aims to begin live-fire drills starting in fiscal 2027. Although Maritime Self-Defense Force and Meteorological Agency personnel are stationed on the island, it has no civilian residents. No actual missile projectiles are being transported during this initial phase, as officials focus on verifying the functionality of the launchers and setting up the range. According to Yonhap News Agency, South Korea's Supreme Court Chief Justice Cho Hee-dae has accepted the resignation of Tae-ak, the chairperson of the National Election Commission, NCC. Roe stepped down following intense public backlash over an unprecedented shortage of ballot papers during the June 3 local elections, which severely disrupted voting in several areas of Seoul. Roe offered to resign, stating he felt deeply responsible for the situation. Ballot shortages were reported at dozens of polling stations, including those in the southern Seoul districts of Songpa and Gangnam. Some voters reportedly left without casting their ballots after waiting in long lines. The NEC later revealed that additional ballots were sent to 140 polling stations nationwide, and 26 stations temporarily suspended voting due to the shortages. In response to the crisis, the watchdog announced plans to establish a fact-finding committee composed of members recommended by civic groups, media, legal, and academic organizations to thoroughly investigate the incident. According to CNBC, Corning shares rose 4% on Monday following the announcement of a multi-billion-dollar agreement with Amazon. Under the multi-year deal, Corning will supply optical fiber to connect and power Amazon's rapidly expanding artificial intelligence data centers in the United States. The agreement is also expected to create 1,000 jobs at Corning's manufacturing facilities in North Carolina and expand a local training program for fiber optic technicians. This pact represents another major win for the 175-year-old glassmaker, which has established itself as a critical player in the artificial intelligence infrastructure boom. Earlier this year, Corning secured a $6 billion deal with Meta and a $3.2 billion investment from NVIDIA. Corning's stock has more than doubled in 2026 and has risen nearly six-fold since the end of 2023. While much of Corning's business historically occurred overseas, The massive demand from domestic hyperscalers and AI labs is driving a significant manufacturing expansion in the U.S., aligning with federal calls to onshore the critical AI supply chain. In an exclusive interview with NBC News Meet the Press, President Donald Trump outlined his approach to ending the 3-month-old war with Iran. Trump stated that if a peace deal is reached, the U.S. will collaborate with Iran, using American equipment to retrieve and destroy its highly enriched uranium. However, if negotiations fail, he warned that the U.S. would severely degrade Iran's military so American forces could safely secure the nuclear material on their own. Trump noted that the two sides are very close to signing a pact, but he is insisting on stricter language to prevent Iran from developing, purchasing, or acquiring nuclear weapons. He also expressed openness to direct talks with Iran's new leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, whom he described as more rational than his late father. Despite a fragile ceasefire, Trump plans to keep 50,000 U.S. troops deployed in the region as leverage until a final agreement is completed, arguing that the deployment costs are low and necessary to guarantee long-term economic and national security relief. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.